we started looking at those options. The guards were coming. The costs were going up. The price of the guards went up 30% last year. We went from approximately $58,000 a year for a guard to right around $93,000 a year. And that was only for 12 hours a day. That wasn't for 24-hour security. Another thing was the company that we got to provide the personnel for the gate system is getting hard to get people to come out here. And they told us, they said, we're having a real hard time getting people out here to show up. I mean, they just weren't showing up. So we had to make a decision, and over the 4 years, we did a lot of research. We took data. I know I've counted cars. I mean, how many cars are coming through at what time? How many people get backed up at the gate on a Friday night when the renters are lined up 6 deep, waiting for this attendant at the guard to check them in, answer their questions, write out their little pass, and sometimes just chat. Fortunately, it didn't get too bad with the chatting, especially when they were backed up, but it got bad. And I know homeowners were like sitting in line going, am I ever going to get home tonight? Well, that was sometime. It was the time you could get through. But it was a problem, and I had a lot of people, I don't know how many here, but I had a lot of people come to me and go, gosh, I wish we could do something here. So we looked at the options. And it looked like the best option was to create 2 lanes. I mean, have a separate lane for our owners that live here every day. Or that come, thank you. They come here and stay for a week, whatever. And they don't want to have to sit and wait in line. They don't want to have to pull up and, oh, yes, I am an owner. Oh, I don't have my sticker on my car, but I am an owner. Whatever the reason. I mean, most people just want to go home. So we had to come up with something. We also had the golf course. I mean, Mr. Trotter doesn't want people being stopped at the gate going, are you going to the golf course? Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're open or not. Well, they're open till 10. So he wants unimpeded access to his golf course. Well, unfortunately, that means the gate stays open during the daytime or whenever the golf course is open. Not a lot we can. Excuse me?
You don't live in a secure neighborhood, you leave the gate open.
That's right.
Don't have it.
So why do we do all this?
Why do we do all this?
Well, the point is when there's a third.
Why was it created in the beginning? Why
Why
was it created as a gated community? That's the big question. Does anybody know?
Yeah, I do. Can I speak on that?
I'll take your question.
You won't take mine,
Oh,
but.
no, sorry, I won't.
You asked a question.
No, I'm making a statement.
No, you
It's
asked
part
a
of
question.
it's part of my presentation, and I'd appreciate if you would just
You asked.
settle down. No, please. You've already had more than your time, and that was it.
You asked.
If you want to be technical about it,
Yeah.
yeah, you do, because you have a personal problem with me.
Yes, I do.
What's the problem? That's fine.
We're all listening to you.
Oh. So we took all the data, we looked at all these options, and how do we fix it? Separate lane, we went in and looked at, I took aerial photos, we had a new survey done, we went through all this, and I sent out a newsletter to everybody that we could, explaining what we're doing. There was nothing in the dark. There was no behind the scenes things going on. I sent this newsletter out every week for 6 months. And if you didn't get it, I'm sorry. I hope you can go on the website because they're all there. There's 24 letters in there. Every week I sent out a letter to try to keep you informed on what we were doing. Exactly, from the beginning all the way through. There were no hidden agendas. There were no, we're going to do this anyway. We took suggestions from people. I had a lot of people that sent in questions and suggestions. And I listened. I think if you sent in a question, if it didn't get answered, I'm sorry, but I think I answered well over 200 questions. Our objective was just to make it smoother, more efficient, easier for our people to get in town. But we had to keep it safe in that, what if there's a fire emergency? I mean, they send a thing out. In the past, the back gate, we had to go down and open it, and lock it open, and lock all these gates open. It was a time-consuming thing. This new system, one click on the mouse, and everything opens, and everybody can exit quickly and efficiently. We don't have to have somebody there falling asleep at 2 in the morning. I got plenty of, I don't know how many comments I got. I drove through it too this morning. I was coming back from the airport and I went to stop and the guard was asleep. I know, I tell them not to sleep, but they still sleep. They let people through that they didn't know. There's plenty of times I had cars I found that came through, they had no pass after hours. The guard was obviously there. We had to do something. So we came up with this plan. Okay, automation. There's 30,000, more than that now actually, over 30,000 communities in the U.S. that use the same system we do, or something like it. It doesn't make you have to do anything special. We got these tags for your cars. You can drive up and drive straight through. I don't know how many people have gotten them, but we've given out, we've actually issued over 500. There's 500 cars in our community that, by owners that have these tags that can drive right through. It doesn't matter if there's a line of renters coming in. They drive right through. So, once we got this in place, and I worked on it for 2 months, got most of the construction done, we had to put together all the database. I mean, there's 456 properties. There's 400 and I think 5 or 6 individual owners. There's 112 rental properties in this community. As of right now, I think it's going to go up because I just got some more. They all had to have access to. The only time we had to worry about it was between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. But we still had to give them access. So I had to create all these PIN numbers, this database, bring all this stuff in. I said, well, I don't want this database to be easily accessible either. So everything's on a secure server. Nobody gets it. It doesn't go anywhere. 2-step security on it, so you can't, authorization, so you can't, not anybody can get in it.
Who can?
Pardon?
Who can?
Me?
One person?
Yes.
What happens if, God forbid, you have a car?
I've got everything in a vault with all the passwords that can be transferred to the next person. All the passwords, all the accessibility. I'm sorry?
Mechanical can always fail.
Yeah, and one nice thing about this system too, I don't know how many people came through last night when the power went off. Did you notice?
It was open.
Gates were open. It does it automatically. There is multiple redundancy. It's all battery backed up.
How about the ambulance that got stalled?
All they do is pull up and hit the siren.
It didn't work.
I'm
It works.
with the fire department. I'm
It
with
works.
the
The
fire
that
department.
gate, somebody did it yesterday.
You all sit there and send out an email saying that I want to know who it was that you talked to with the emergency personnel that said that all of this works, because my chief and the county officers that I know, no one was spoken to about it. So who was that you talked to?
911 center was giving that
Okay, what
information.
about the chief of the fire
So
department?
we did put these sensors on both gates. The back gate, the old one, has been there for years. It had a sensor on it, got hit by lightning 2 or 3 times. It got to a point where we couldn't even get parts for it. So we gave out several cards. Townsend PD had 3 cards.
You
One
gave
was,
them out to Townsend PD and then you turned around and canceled them days later.
You stopped an
We-
ambulance, an
We
emergency
didn't
call,
cancel
and
it.
second
Okay.
matter.
I'm sorry, I can't go if I keep getting interrupted. So here's the thing. We did the best we could with the best technology we could to try to get everybody full accessibility. The back gate has been there forever. It was, at one time was voted, the board voted to close it, lock it, and put boulders up on
Illegally.
it. And
You got a court order saying you can't close it. Tell the truth.
We're keeping order. If someone cannot make.
you've had your time, this is my time. Please. Okay. This was before I was on the board or anything else. They were gonna close the gate, went back gate and lock it closed. And I said, wait a minute, I live in the back area. Is there anything else we can do? I said, so I came up with an idea. I said, I can put a automated on it and I can put where we have card keys. They said, oh, okay. So I did that on my own time. Everything I've done here is on my own time. I've not charged anything. Just in this front gate project, I've got several hundred hours in it, not including, also including the actual construction and all the time building and maintaining and getting the database up to speed. And this database is huge too because we're getting more contact with our people. And that's what it's all about, contact with you. That's why the newsletters went out to you. So the time that we put into this is because I myself want to see the community get better. Technology is not voodoo. It's there. We live with it every day. Do you embrace it or not? We do have things that we have to consider when we were doing this, and we tried to consider them all. The next thing was, once we get this front gate in, it establishes this infrastructure with all this data and everything that gives people access to the community. Now let's move forward. Let's get the back gate done. We're working on that now. New back gate will be much better. You don't have to have this stupid key cards anymore. If you can get in the front gate, you can get in the back gate. It's that simple. RFID tags on the car. You drive up, it's going to open. You go on. You don't have to get your arm out. Someone one time said, "I have to stick my arm out in the rain if it's raining." Well, this fixes it. It also looks at the rental properties, especially the ones on that side. The PIN codes will be coming available for them too. This is all technology, but it's not really anything magic. So from that, when the back gate is done, the next thing we were looking at, the trash compactor. How many complaints have we got about illegal dumping in the trash compactor? Quite a few. All right? With the system, it's easy to address that problem because we already have the infrastructure built. The database is done. Everybody has their RFID tags down or their PIN codes. You can get in. The guy with the truckload of trash that's coming from outside the community, he can. He can throw it over the gate if he wants, but we have camera systems down there. Get him for littering, I guess. But at least it'll be a deterrent for this to go on, to continue. So this is what we did. It wasn't like some may think that it was some kind of diabolical scheme to try to lock people out. It wasn't. I've worked extremely hard to make sure that if you're supposed to be in Laurel Valley, you can get in. We're limited by the time restrictions, and that's something we have no choice. We have to. I mean, Mr. Trotter's put a lot of money and effort into getting that golf course really nice and beautiful. I love it. I want him to succeed. I want us all to live together. I've tried, the newsletters have gone out. The one went out yesterday. And I hope that it answered your question. If it did not, I certainly have always implored you to send your questions. To bring your questions to me so I can answer them. But I don't know if you don't ask. And I've tried to adjust. We've had some questionable things, and somebody said, what about this? How do we approach it? And we've looked at it. Everything is done not in a set of rules. We're very flexible. We're going to work with everybody. That's my goal. Not everybody wants to work with everybody anymore, and that's unfortunately the problem. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring us together. I obviously haven't, but there's always division, and I don't want that. I want us to come together. So that's what I've done. We look at the future. What's going to happen in the future? That's the only thing I can say. I'm working hard to try to make the future something that y'all enjoy being here.